Eric, good to see you.
You too.
Is this our first time doing this in person?
Yeah, first time 3D, yeah.
It feels like, I know you. We spent more time, but we do a lot of things virtually in the Bullpen. So here you are in person. Can you give an introduction? Tell us what led you to this point in your career.
Yeah, sure. Make a long story short. Started off in healthcare consulting, pharmaceutical medical device, Salesforce planning, then into healthcare consulting around capacity planning for health systems and physician groups. Then went into more on the Vizient GPO side, doing industry research on trends that impact healthcare providers in particular. And that's where I started thinking more about like doing research studies on new trends. And this is back in the late 90s, early 2000s, around things like telehealth or wearables. And, it took a pandemic to get telehealth to be everywhere. Wearables continue to evolve. So the long arc of innovation in healthcare is something that I've been interested all along. Spent time at Allina North Memorial here in the Twin Cities in corporate strategy, corporate development, at Health Group in internal venture development through an acquisition of a company called Savvy Sherpa, which is kind of like a venture studio. And under Dave Wickman, he wanted basically a third arm that could create companies or business units that were, thinking 3 to 5 years out. United Health Group, as we all know, is an amazing, immense company with a lot of focus on, near-term kind of results as well as long-term. But I was part of a group that was thinking about new ventures development. From there, I went to a small venture studio until we ran out of money. It was COVID, so things happened, and came to the March of Dimes, which I, was not on my bingo card of like where I'd end up in my career, but had this amazing opportunity to join an organization that's been around for 86 years that we all have heard about, but is in a process of trying to think about how to be, relevant in different ways. And so the March of Dimes started with essentially by Franklin Delano Roosevelt to get dimes from people to find a cure for polio back in the 40s. That worked with the Salk vaccine. And then March Dimes started doing more work in birth defects and preterm birth. And those are still its main focus areas. And through the years, provided hundreds of millions of dollars for bench research and development of new technologies and therapies. And the board and some major donors decided about 3 or 4 years ago that they wanted to create a venture fund. So as a nonprofit that has some of its, lessons learned, it's hard to, think about one of the most capitalistic things, and there is venture capital under the fold of a nonprofit that's been around for 86 years. But we're not the only one that's doing this. Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and other nonprofits have created funds to invest in early stage solutions because there's a dearth of like traditional risk capital that goes into some of these niche areas. So for us, it's a focus on pregnancy related issues, complications for mom and baby. So once pregnant all the way through postpartum, first year, are there investable areas where we know that there innovation's needed, where the current capital markets might have some interest? And so how do we invest in early stage companies in those areas?
Wonderful. That's a great explanation. Okay, so in the next year, what are you focused on? I mean, I'm listening, you're looking for innovative technologies, but is there one initiative you'd like to share with us that maybe Bullpen folks would like to get more involved with?
Yeah, there's probably first, deal flow. So, I'm trying to understand, like, are there pregnancy related companies, or in particular right now I'm doing more of a deep dive on the neonatal intensive care unit. Babies that are born preterm are about the size of that phone and weigh almost that much. So they're exposed to a lot of different potential ailments, during labor and delivery and during their hospital stay and afterwards. So, technologies, care models, support services that can help in that is an area that actively looking for solutions in. Networking, I love talking with people in academia who have that, how to get from bench to bedside. So while we don't invest in pre-seed or even seed that often, just knowing that there's companies or things in the pipeline that maybe we could support through venture capital or other means as March of Dimes is important. And then also like the broader accelerator world, I've been able to establish a lot of great relationships with a lot of venture funds that are focused on women's health, from niche funds all the way through some larger funds that have verticals in that area. So would love to have introductions to those kinds of folks. And then the whole premature baby birth defects, there's just not a lot of venture capital. So if you know of anybody in that space, love to talk to them, because whether they're accelerators or venture capitalists or angels or whoever it might be, because that's a profound need in the sector.
Well, I hope you stay for happy hour.
I will.
We have a women-led panel focused on women funding.
Yes.
With Martha McMillan and some other folks that are focused on that. I had a child who went through NICU. It's an amazing place to be investing in. I mean, it's a difficult space that probably gets overlooked, and we're lucky to have you there to support those companies that need it. So
Thanks.
I'm going to, ask one more thing, that you just reach out and connect with our members today, and that our members do the same for you, and that you have a great experience. But thanks so much, Eric.
Looking forward to it.
It's been great to get to know you online and now in person. Let's give Eric a hand. Thank you very much.